So, one of my first experiences with understanding how literal Andrew takes things was, well over a year ago, before the diagnosis and before we really understood his autism spectrum disorder. I had a dog when I met Andrew Baxter, and he was a little Yorkie full of energy who was totally spoiled. He was 10, and for 8.5 of those years, he had singled me. So he was always on my lap, he followed me everywhere, he always got what he wanted, and just, yeah, he was my dog. And he was kind of a brat. And all of a sudden, Andrew's in the house all the time, and Baxter was kind of a high anxiety dog. And it got way worse with my head injury because all of a sudden I was home for a year, always in bed. And then when my life started getting back to normal, my dog just got even worse. And then when Andrew moved in, it got even worse. And he was just like always shaking. And, all of a sudden there's this man in the bed and there's a man here all the time. And Baxter didn't have his spots and whatever. So it was really bothering Andrew, and he's allergic to animals and, doesn't really like them to begin with. And then I have like a high anxious dog. So it wasn't a good combination. And there was a few days in a row that, like, first thing in the morning, he commented on it and would bring it up and was just like, we need to fix this, and we need to do this, and you need to discipline him more, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm learning with Andrew that he doesn't piece things together. Everything is like an individual event in his brain. It's like compartmentalized. So if he does that like 3 or 4 days in a row, he doesn't actually really notice that he's doing it. He'll just kind of wake up and do what he does. But no part of his mind is thinking, oh, I'm doing this too much, or I've done this multiple days in a row. He doesn't think that way. So for me, I ended up just snapping, and I was like, I don't want to hear about this first thing in the morning. Like, I get it. I'm working on it. Like, I'm trying to calm down his anxiety, and he's just got to get used to you. And I just like snapped. Like, I don't want to hear about this first thing in the morning. Like, I don't need to hear this in the morning. And I ended up finding Baxter a new home, with a wonderful woman who's single, who lives alone, who has an acreage. And it was heartbreaking for me, but with us going traveling for 2 years, it just made the most sense. And I've been to visit him, and I know how happy she is to have him and how happy he is. And he needs an owner that will give him his undivided attention, because that's how needy he is. But I miss him so much. He's so cute. But 6 months later, I think a good 6 months later, I'm kind of guessing, but I was driving Andrew to get laser eye surgery, and something was bothering him. I can't remember what the subject was, but I asked him something like, "Okay, so tell me about, just tell me about it." And he looked at his watch and looked out the window and like didn't say anything. And I was like, hello, like tell me. And I was asking him about something that was uncomfortable. I have no idea what it was, but I was just like asking him, like, tell me. And then he's like, I'll tell you at 3 o'clock. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, you'll tell me at 3 o'clock? Like, I'm asking you now. Like, tell me now. And he's like, but it's 10:30, so like if I tell you now, that would be me telling you something bad in the morning, right? And oh my goodness, I started laughing so hard, because that is how literal Andrew takes me, and that is how much like he's paying attention to what I say. So it's been a huge learning curve for me, and this is why I try to really not say things to him when I'm emotional, because he won't understand that I'm only saying that today because I'm emotional, like, and that you're getting on my nerves. Like, he'll just think that that's the case all the time. So he'll think that he can't bring up anything that's even a little bit not happy before 3 o'clock because I said morning, and he doesn't know what I consider morning. So he just decided that it was 3 o'clock. So with someone on the autism spectrum, definitely watch your words. Know that they're taking you literally. It's hilarious. It amuses me. This is why I'm so in love with him, is because of things like this. But yeah, literal. Oh, with taking things literally too, the other day we were talking about that show You on Netflix, and friends of mine were over and they were talking about it. And Andrew was just like, "What's it about?" And I was like, "Oh, it's just about like a guy that's obsessed." And then I turned to my friends and kept talking, and then he's like, "With hamburgers?" like like obsessed with what? And I just started laughing. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm like obsessed with a girl." Like, and to me it's like, Andrew, pick the most obvious answer. Like he's obsessed. Like obviously it's probably going to be with a girl. But in Andrew's brain it's like, I'm not going to put that together. Like if he's obsessed, like you have to tell me what he's obsessed with. And I just started laughing. I was like, "Oh man, I love you." But yeah, so watch your words. They take you literal. And yeah, that's about it.